Oh, I don't know if I can do the whole full 15 minutes, but we're gonna give it a try. All right. Oh, I don't know if I can do the whole. That fell into the mic. Oh well, that happens. So, welcome to another mindset Saturday. The whole goal behind this is for mindset participation. If you want to be part of my inner circle, by all means, just go ahead and message me on Instagram, JD underscore the great. That way you can be able to access our mindset. That said, today's talk is going to be around the month of repeat, which is basically what I love. This is where everything starts to slow down and we get ready for the next month, which is when we celebrate. We get excited. We've accomplished a whole entire year of our cycle, and we just got to repeat all the good stuff. That way, we got some Christmas money, right? So, my goal and my job is to make sure that each and every one of the traders that can hear my voice, no matter where you are, if you're in Istanbul or if you're right around the corner of South Florida, I just want to get you to a point where you're completely objective into the market. There is no winners, there is no losers, it's just performance. And if you can get there, that'll be great. So, the first thing I want to kind of bring up is I started changing how I look at things in its entirety for my repeat. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I've changed my strategy or anything like that. It's just the perception. And what I mean by perception is I think we too one way. I think when we're looking at trades, it's how it affects me, how it's supposed to enhance me, how I'm supposed to be much more successful so that way I can go ahead and help my family and everything else. And the market is literally saying, I don't care. I see this resistance, I'm going to attack it, and I don't care how it feels. I'm gonna hit you with max pain, and if your max pain does not handle that drawback, guess what? I'm gonna hit your stop loss and cry me a river. I don't care. And when I started doing that, something magical kind of happened. And we just did our early bird session with the folks, and we kind of talked about flow. I found myself finding myself getting into flow a lot quicker and a lot faster than I normally did. Let me give you a perspective. So my goal generally was to kind of break down to everybody around the world because everybody has their own variations of orb, which is opening range breakout. And some people do it in the 5 minutes, some people do it in 15 seconds, some people do there's just so many variations out there. And my job is to be a proper coach because what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. So let's put it into some real terms. So I always use sports because sports always resonates for me when it's all said and done. So let's think of it this way. If you have, and I'm gonna give multiple phrases in this. If you have the fastest team in the world, right? You're not gonna go ahead and be strategic, kind of like what's going on with the Miami Heat right now. They got the highest in pace, right? And they're the highest in pace because they outrun everybody. They're probably more conditioned and everything else. But if you go ahead and take that same script, right? Same strategy, same scheme, same coaching staff, everything, pick it up, plug it in into the team that has nothing but 33, 34, 35-year-olds, and their body mass index is probably somewhere around unhealthy. Guess what happens? They could try to run as fast as they want. They will not be at the level because that system, strategy, or case does not fit that team. So I want y'all to really look at what it is that you're repeating. How can you optimize it for who you are? Because if you can't explain to me your strategy on how you get in, then you got to ask yourself the question, how will you know how to get in when you're supposed to get in and when to get out when you're supposed to get out? Sounds very rudimentary. Okay, all right. Let me put it into terms for my traders. All right, enough sports analogy. So the opening range breakout, some people do it on the 15 minutes. You got your top and the bottom, bullish above the line, below is bearish, and I found myself just boxing out and I'm like, I'm waiting for the break of the box. But I found that for some reason, it keeps going inside the middle of the opening range breakout. Like, why it keeps doing that? So I kind of coined this phrase, Javi be on the floor with me and everything else. And I coined the phrase, I said, stranger danger. I don't know what it does. It sometimes it acts like a black hole and it sucks price action back to it. Sometimes it acts like a freaking Barry Bonds baseball bat and smacks it right back down or up, respectively. And then out of nowhere, it just hits the line and it just carries on into the stratosphere. But there had to be some type of dynamic on how to optimize. But wait a minute. But I'm supposed to take a trade when the 5 minute closes above the orb. But sometimes it goes right back to stranger danger, right in that middle center void, just to go ahead and do exactly what I wanted to do in the first place. So I had to optimize again. I started putting something as simple as psychological levels. Then I started putting something as simple as Fibonacci. Then I started put so confluence, when it's all said and done, it's something that you have to actually really ask yourself the question, how many other people are supporting you? I'm gonna repeat that. How many other people are supporting you? So for us to get into flow, that means imagine you're trying to be a surfer and you see a wave is coming, but you notice that at the end of the day, that wave is not going to do much. All right, cool. Then that means that is just one layer of your confluence. But then it pulls back a couple, then you wait and you're like, oh, I've seen this thing kind of set up before. When it does that little roly thing down on the ocean, down at that bottom. Again, I've never been a surfer. I'm just kind of paraphrasing here. Now I know a big wave is going to come. Oh, it's time for me to get on the board right now. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it started. You know what? It's not doing enough. Let me go ahead and sit right back on the board. Months ago, I talked to each and every y'all, every one of y'all, and I told y'all that this is going to be the best artwork that you'll ever draw in your life. It could be just simple as EMAs. It could be just simple as support and resistance. It could be simple as order blocks. It could be, breaker boxes for my ICT folks, or it could be strats with numbers. This is going to be a masterpiece of a straight trading strategy. It's just how you draw it. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a masterpiece nonetheless. And that masterpiece is going to be what result you get from your performance on execution. Not the end result of, oh, I should have made 10,000, 20,000, $40,000, but just the fact that I executed my plan. And the reason why I bring this up is because I think a lot of people, they're like, let me just erase that line. No, Picasso used ink to draw. Whatever he puts there, it's stuck. What is there, it's just stuck. That's it. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't make adjustments. Some of y'all are so wrapped up on perfecting your masterpiece that it just literally never gets done. It's not the best of situations. It didn't execute the trade. It didn't hit my stop loss, but I'm gonna put my stop loss into profit a little early because it's taking too long. You gotta really look at what you want to get out of this based on the parameters that you know what you can get out of this. Either that or your back testing, your planning, your journaling is relatively useless. So when you go into Monday, my goal for you is to look at it in its totality. So fast forward a little bit. So I'm looking at the orb. This is like a few months ago. Then I kind of went back. I was like, I don't think I'm teaching everybody the way I'm supposed to. I brought back my trend lines. I went ahead. I got EMAs, but I got higher EMAs on a certain time frame on the other side because I can't see those EMAs crossing because it makes me not pay attention to EMAs in the beginning. But I'm ignoring my price action because I'm more price action driven. So I don't need to have hires. Does that mean it's more successful than anyone? No, it's just who I am. So after I started putting those things together, I spent one of the first times in a very long time the entire Friday trading for those that don't know, I wasn't able to trade Tuesday and Thursday. Had a kind that I had to take care of and had to do some holiday running around. But that Friday, it felt not only did it feel like I had flow that even when things went wrong, I was like, okay, I can see where this went wrong. And I was still in my flow. I still was seeing what the market was trying to do. It's like trying to learn a brand new language from the ground up, but now you get into that conversational part of that, right? It's going to take practice. Yeah, you know the words, but the more you practice it and the more you know what you're looking for and the more you connect words, there'll be less ums in between as you try to, oh, what was the word for nine? Nueve. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to do that no more. Then you start spitting out phone numbers like it's everything's great. Then you get to the next part where you're doing conjugated numbers. Like it's that simple. But getting there requires experience and practice. So why am I repeating this? I think there's a problem. I think there's a problem of restrained trading. And I'm gonna explain that because that's the whole reason why I brought up the whole entire Picasso. Restrained trading requires for you to take a step back. It might be a step back away from the computer screen. It might be a step back for you to look at a higher time frame. It might be a step back where you got to get out the room because you know how you can get really, really topsy-turvy and you just cannot look at a chart anymore. Everyone is different. But the restrained trading is probably the best, most optimal skill that you will ever have. And I'm talking about inconsequential because there's a part where you're like, wait a minute. If I just sat here like 10 minutes earlier, I would have got this whole entire moves. I need you to let the trades go that you missed because that wasn't for you. That was for somebody else. Because if it was for you, you would have seen the setup, then you would have stayed longer and it would have been clear for you. But if you're not clear at looking at the trade, then there is a point where you have to ask yourself some questions. Am I restraining myself properly? A plus setups don't just come because you sat there and took every trade. A plus setups showed up because you see that all the confluence are in line and it gives you the highest probability. And then let the trade operate. And I am preaching a little bit to the choir to a certain degree because I think everybody has that to a certain extent. But if you've ever faced a challenge, because I'm still working on letting trades go, and Javi was kind of laughing at me because I was like, I'm trying to hold on to a trade for a full 5 minutes. That anxiety, as soon as it gets close to that candle close and it starts to put that long wick against me, I'm like, I just had all that money. And I let it come all the way back to here, and that wick is going against me. They might continue back the other way. But that's not the plan. The plan is get into the trade, hold on to it for a full 5 minutes. That's the plan. So fast forward, I did an orb during the London session, and I think no, yeah, it was the London session because I got up real early in the morning. During the London session, and if y'all know me, I'm the type like I don't trust overnight. I don't know how it works. I always get caught up. Something bad always happens. But then that's the me giving myself an excuse. This Friday was one of those where I said, Friday will not hold me captive. Overnight will not hold me captive. And at the end of the day, is it my setup? Yes or no? And if it's no, there's nothing to look at. There's nothing to look at because I need my why first. And as soon as that why is there, then go look for the entry. But sometimes we get caught up. We stay on the entry time frame to the point that now it's part of our DNA. We go straight to the entry time frame. Now we turn into scalpers. Now we don't know how to hold on to trades. Yeah, that's okay. You're gonna have to operate with higher leverage to a certain degree, but can you handle that anxiety? And if you can't, maybe there's something that you can do to optimize. So as I was doing that, I dropped down to my 5 seconds, kind of looked at it, and I'm telling you this: if you ever want to be scared completely crap. Do London session 5 seconds. Those gaps are all over the place. It's a freaking nightmare for the most part. But I knew what the 5 minute was trying to set up. So I took my trade and I said, damn that. They already kind of screwed me on one of my PAs. I'm trying to get back to my PA with an eval. And I said, we're going with the real leverage because I need to get comfortable with my leverage properly. I made almost 50% of my goal before New York session even started. Told myself I wasn't going to trade at all during the New York session. But the A plus setups kept on showing up. Made a little bit of my options. Best Friday I had. Then I'm like $400 away from funding an account by the end of the day. Not only did I get in flow from 4 o'clock in the morning. I know y'all about to say, Dan, Jeff, how many trades did you take? Do not ask that question, Rod, right? But if you really think about it, I was so stuck on flow. No, 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 it was less than 60. It was less than 60. I was so stuck on flow that every it's less than 25, all right? It's less than 25, all right? So I was so stuck on flow that the end result actually did what I was relatively expecting. I don't care what happens. This is my trade setup. And when my trade setup shows up, it should continue. But after my entry, if it does something I don't like and it gives me an opportunity to break even, I'm going to take the break even. And I'm going to look for a better setup. Because if you gave me the break even and you made it look bad, then that means you're no longer my A plus setup. But thank God you gave me that break even because there will always be another trade. Stop worrying about the specific trade and worry about the trade that you know you're responsible for. If you're on a 4 hour, if you're in a 10 hour, if you're the 20 hour, if you're the 2 days, I got some of my folks that I have helped and coached that are only leap traders. They check their charts once a week. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're not worrying about the monotony between, oh, did you see that 1 hour candle pull back? They're looking for a bigger move. So that said, I don't know your setup. I don't know your goals. I don't know your vision list, but I do know that you're not going to be successful unless you find that flow. And that flow is going to be different for everybody. Whenever we hear SJ, he's like, I don't care. I see a scoop. I'm taking it. That's it. There's nothing, there's no hesitation in that. When I see that I'm doing a two candle, I'm like, well, second candle, I'm taking this. Even if it's for a few seconds to a few minutes, I can scalp that way. Fibonacci hits, bank level hits, psychological level hits. No one hesitates when that. But if you ever turn around and change your rules based on the parameters of what the day has done, oh, well, I waited for close above and it ran away from me. I don't want to wait for close above. I'm going to take it. Now you're not following your plan. Because does your plan require candle close or not? There is multiple ways of trading. But exactly? There's multiple, but you cannot turn around and change every aspect the way the wind blows because I promise you the market will push you wherever they want you to push and they'll push you outside of your trading plan. Take your trading plan. Don't be rigid with it, but be firm with it. There will be adjustments, but it does not mean for you to adjust every single thing. There's going to be a point where you're going to have to take a certain amount of leverage. There's going to be a point where you just have just a slimmer of doubt, but just to keep your flow, take it with lower leverage because you see a resistance or a support that can go against you. That's okay. But when you take your trades that is outside of your plan, you'll get out of flow every single time. With that said, that's everything for y'all. I have nothing else for y'all. Y'all have a great day. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way you can know when I get on here and you can join my inner circle by going to JD underscore the great on Instagram and DM me directly. Y'all have a great day.